Welcome to this episode of Thrive With Us. Today, I am sitting with Valen Valentine, a licensed psychologist at Thrive Wellbeing Center. She has a master's degree from Hagazian University in Lebanon, and she's been with us since November 2024. Valen works with kids, teens, adults, and couples, and one of the things that she's been noticing lately, and the subject of our episode today, is the link between physical and mental health and when prioritizing your physical health can have a toll and teeter on the verge of being unhealthy. Valen, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually very excited to be here. It's my first time doing a podcast, so I'm excited, especially to talk about this topic where I've been seeing it all around in my personal life when I go to the gym, at the clinic. It's been a topic that's really coming up, especially with adolescents these days and adults. And I've been seeing that's also affecting the kids lately as young as 9, 10. So I feel like it's a very important topic to talk about, to, as you said, draw the line between what is healthy and when does healthy eating become obsessive.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that's been really wonderful is that over the past few years, there has been a surge, an uptick, if you will, anecdotally at least, in the number of people that are prioritizing their physical health, that are really putting effort into making sure that they're eating as healthily as possible, that are engaging in physical exercise. There's been so many different initiatives also where we live here in the UAE to kind of promote that. But then the question is, when does that emphasis on physical health rather than benefiting the psychological health start to take a toll? So why don't you walk me through some of the things that you've been seeing at the gym and in the clinic?
So one of the main things actually that I've been seeing is, as you said, people are becoming very health conscious, let's say, which is amazing to see, especially we've come a long way with this. But at the same time, people are exercising too much. People are overtraining. Now we're starting to hear terms that maybe were not really around back then, which is overtraining, starvation mode, malnutrition, obsessive calorie counting. We just hear those words like thrown here and there, but we don't really know the impact that this has on a person who's actually going through it. And what's been happening lately and what I've been noticing is people are praised for their, let's say, discipline. Like, you're so disciplined, you're going to the gym, you eat healthy, you're so motivated, you have it in you, good for you, which is, yes, good for you. But we also need to take a step back and think, like, what is this person actually enjoying what they're doing? Or is it that they're doing it out of fear?
Yes.
And this is, as you said, where the line comes in. Like, I can do it and genuinely enjoy the process and really want to do it because I love it, or where I'm basically living in a way where I need to obey the rules which I set for myself, and we're gonna get to. So there's like rigid rules that I need to follow, and if I don't, I cannot eat. If I don't, I get anxious. If I don't, I need to compensate somehow. And I've been seeing it, as you said, in the gym so many times where someone walks in and they're very sick, like barely can walk, barely can breathe at this point. And it's like, why are you here? They're like, but I need to train. I had dinner yesterday. Or how will I continue my day of eating if I didn't burn what I need to burn to consume the calories that I need to eat? And it's just, this is where it's like, okay, something's happening.
There is a line, and I think that that's a really important thing. And I want to start off by saying, and I think both of us are very much aligned on this, eating healthily and exercising are really, really important, and they're things that we definitely want to promote.
100%.
But what we want to talk about today is when we start to go down this path where it might be detrimental to our psychological health, even if it's good for our physical health. And I think you brought up a really important point, and it's something you and I spoke about before. And it's this idea that there are certain things that we can do when we do them maybe too much, or we end up in that unhealthy zone, that are reinforced.
Yes.
And we were discussing it even about overworking, right? When you're working really hard and achieving milestones and ticking boxes and doing all of that stuff, you progress in your career. And people like that. You know what I mean? That's something that is societally reinforced and desired. And it's the same thing when you're embarking on this journey of trying to eat in a healthy way and trying to hit certain physical health goals. So let's talk. You said that there are some rules. Yes. What are some of the rules that people might want to think about if they're wondering if they're starting to teeter into that zone of too much?
So before I get into this, I'm just going to basically say what healthy eating looks like.
Okay.
And what obsessive healthy eating looks like, so we can see the difference. And then so for everyone can kind of think, am I doing this or am I doing this, with the list of questions.
Most of the time, yeah.
So basically healthy eating is, of course, we're eating healthy, we're eating clean. I know what I'm putting into my body. I'm not consuming lots of sugar, lots of oil, lots of this. But the thing is, there's balance. It's about being flexible. So I can eat, this is where we say follow the 80-20% rule. So you're eating healthy, let's say, or clean 80% of the time, but you're comfortable if you're out and you feel like having a burger, a pizza, an ice cream, whatever it is, I can. That's totally fine. There's no problem. This is where healthy eating comes in, where, as I said, I'm very comfortable. I'm full. I stop eating. I'm hungry. I eat. I listen to my body. I can intuitively eat, basically. And as I said, everything that's very important, where there's flexibility. That's one of the key things of healthy eating.
So the difference between rigidity and flexibility when it comes to what we put into our body is one of the big markers. And I think it's really good that you gave a very general sort of overview, because obviously neither of us are like nutritionists or dietitians or anything like that. But it's not really about, we're not here to say you should have this much protein or these much
at all
carbs, but it's this idea of you should be able to have some flexibility, and you shouldn't be so weighed down, pardon the pun, by the things that you're putting into your body.
Yes. So basically your identity should not be defined by how perfect you're eating. Because one of the things of unhealthy eating is where how you feel or how you see yourself is based on how good or healthy you're eating. So it becomes part of your identity. It's where I can go on a trip, I can travel without panicking of what's around. I can go out without having to stress, can I eat? What's on the menu? I can just go out and enjoy whatever is there. It's where I can have treats without feeling guilty or shameful, let's say. This is where healthy eating comes in, or what is healthy eating. When it becomes obsessive, or it becomes that line where it starts to cross, is where I start calorie counting, like obsessively for a long period of time. I need to check every single label, every single ingredient, every nutritional fact, where I start isolating. I cannot go out. I cannot go to this place because they don't have what I can eat. I obsessively check menus to see if there's something that I can eat. And if not, then I'm not going. So it starts affecting your relationships, your mental health. It starts causing anxiety, depression, loneliness, where guilt as well, where you start feeling like, oh my God, I ate this. Then I need to, let's say, over-exercise so I can compensate. Where basically exercise becomes transactional. So if I train more, I can eat. Or I ate, so I need to go train and train so I can burn it off. It doesn't become something that's healthy anymore. It's like, I do this, I get this. If not, then I'm not eating. Or I'm under eating. So this is where, sorry, as I said, it comes in. And this is where we can say, okay, disordered eating is happening, let's say. I can start seeing that there's an unhealthy pattern. I can start seeing that I'm not myself anymore. I can start seeing that I'm training regardless of the situation. I'm sick, I'm injured, whatever it is, I start planning my days literally around this, where it's like I have things to do, but okay, what time can I do it? Because I have, for example, gym at this time. So my plans have to work around this. I cannot be flexible. It's very, as I said, rigid. There's rules. You go to the gym, you train this much, you do this much cardio, you burn this much calories, then you can have your breakfast.
And
or
if you
can have your
don't,
lunch.
you're a terrible person.
If you don't, then you have failed. Then you might go into the place where, okay, I did not, for example, let's say you set yourself a target of, I need to burn 300 calories in an hour, for example. And then if you didn't, then okay, I need to cut this much out of my lunch. I start moving things from here, things from there. I miss out. I'm going to miss my snack just because I did not burn that number that I set for myself.
Okay. So you just shared, I think, so many different layers. And I want to keep coming back to this whole concept of rigidity versus flexibility, because I think that this is something that is very important. You also mentioned this aspect of transactional or compensatory behavior, right? And you also mentioned something that is very, very key for us in our field when we're trying to determine if something is problematic, atypical, disordered, or not. And that is when it starts to impact on your life. So you were just describing something, and what came to mind for me is the fact that, you know, in a lot of cultures, including our culture
Ours, yes.
here in the UAE and the Middle East, like people connect over food. And if you are, on a specific diet for whatever reason, that's fine. But if you need to go out with like a scale to weigh the portions,
Yes.
or if you're declining events or engagements and missing out on that opportunity for social engagement because you're worried you're not going to be able to have the right and the perfect food, that's when it can start to be a problem. So it's the rigidity and the flexibility. It's the impact it's having on that person. One of the things that you're saying is the social isolation that can
Yes.
start to compound. And then the other thing that I'm hearing from you is that inner voice and the inner critic. And if someone has a goal and they're not meeting that goal, whether it's, right now, rather than sort of long-term over time, because that's also how we want to measure goals. It's not just what am I putting or what am I achieving today? It's, over a more extended period of time. The narrative that comes up is you're bad, you're failed.
Good. Yeah.
I'm going to punish you by either cutting this or adding this. And then, as we sort of spoke about a little bit earlier, when you are achieving those goals in that moment, it's amazing. You feel great.
Yep.
You feel like I'm doing it. I'm hitting that target. Next week on the machine, I'm going to have like the body fat percentage that I'm looking for. And so it sounds like a very difficult loop or cycle to break.
It is actually, as you said, 100%. It is a very hard cycle because the reinforcing part is like, I'm hitting my numbers. Okay, I've done it this long. I've gone this far. I've made it. I can do more. And then it starts becoming an obsession with numbers. It's not about how I look, how I feel. It's, I want to target this number and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to this number, whether it's my body fat percentage, it's my muscle mass, it's my overall weight, whatever it is, it's a target and I'm going to go for it. And the cycle with this thing, and something interesting that I've been seeing so much, it's how we get into this cycle.
Okay.
And basically how hard it is to get out of it. So there's nothing wrong, just to make it very clear, with someone having a goal where I want to lose body fat, I want to put on muscle. That's totally fine. You do you, as I always say. This is what you want, please. It's healthy. You do it, you go for it. But there's a limit between knowing I can do this for 1, 2, 3 months where it's healthy, because you cannot really go into a calorie deficit more than 3 months, because this starts to affect like your health. Where it's like, okay, I can do this for 3 months and then I can go back to eating normally. It's okay if you're going to weigh out your food for this short period of time, or I want to train a bit more, I want to put more emphasis on this. That's fine. As long as you're able to know that this is something that's short term, I'm doing it, I reach whatever I can. And then there's a period of normalcy where it's, I go back to normal. I need to get back my calories. I need to reduce my training.
So cycles and phases are important.
Exactly. Where people, like in gym terms, they say, let's say, where I'm going to cut or I'm going to bulk. Let's say, depends on if you want to lose fat or build muscle.
Shred,
exactly. That's totally fine. There's no problem. Because I have people telling me, but I just want to lose fat. I'm like, please go ahead. If that's what you want, do it. But as long as you're going about it the right way, and even within this period, you have an outing, you're going. You're at a birthday and there's cake and you love cake, please eat a piece of cake. And I always say, it's like eating one salad is not going to make you healthy. Eating one slice of pizza or whatever, one piece of cake within this period of time is not going to do anything. So let yourself have that flexibility. This is where that's fine. But when it starts crossing the line is, okay, I'm done with my 3-month mark, let's say. And then I got to my goal. It's like, okay, now I need to push more so I can achieve more. And then I start going into the mentality of I need to reduce my calories more than they already are. I need to start maybe adding a bit of cardio here, more intense weight here. Let me start doing some classes, because, classes, it's like let's say 45 minutes, 50-minute thing where you just go and it's like burn. And you just look at your watch and you're like, oh my God, I hit like a big number of calories. And it's exciting to see.
Totally.
If we're being honest. It's like, yes, look what I did in this short amount of time. But this keeps on going where it's like, okay, I'm going to do it more and more and more. And then the body, unfortunately, and that's something a lot of people don't know actually, as the body gets into a mode where we call it starvation mode, where it got used to that low calorie for a long period of time, where now every single calorie I'm eating is basically, as I say, stuck. Because the body is in this mode of, it's like, okay, I know I'm only getting...
I have to hang on to it.
Exactly. I'm just throwing a number. Let's say it knows I'm only getting 1,200. it knows, the body is very smart. It knows what to expect. And it knows the amount of effort and exercise that you're doing. So what you're putting out, all the effort, your activity throughout the day. So now if I eat, let's say 1,400, my body's going to be like, oh my God, that's an extra 200 calories. Let me hold on to it. And then people here start gaining the fat back, even though they're like, okay, I'm on lower calories, I'm training more. Why am I gaining? And this is where the cycle starts, where it's like, okay, so I need to do even more. So 1,200 is not enough anymore. Let me go to 1,000. Let me go less. Let me train more. And this is the, I can say, lack of awareness that a lot of people have. It's like they feel like more is better, where it's like actually not really. It's less is more.
Well, that's the thing. Our bodies are really, really smart. And I think one of the things, this sort of connects to one of the things that I wanted to speak with you about, is that a lot of times people are embarking on these health journeys on their own without the proper guidance. And so what's really important for anybody watching this is, if you have health targets, to consult with a medical professional
100%.
To see, based on your body and based on your needs, what makes sense, and to kind of reevaluate as time passes, because it is a very cyclical thing. I think what's happening, what I've seen in my own personal life as well as professional life, is there's so much information out there. And so a lot of times people will just skip over the consulting a doctor bit, and they will just go straight to social media channels, whatever blogs. They will, consult with people that are in their gym who might like look great in terms of tick the boxes of what they're wanting to achieve in their own health journey, but they don't really know
what's happening behind
the scenes. They're not really qualified to give that advice. So let's talk. And then the media piece, I think it also connects to that pressure to look a certain way and achieve certain things. But what have you observed when it comes to media and information and all of that stuff?
Honestly, that's such an important topic, because we don't realize the amount of information we're getting literally here and there, whether it's on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on whatever it is, even like in the gym. As you said, you see someone who looks amazing and they're like, yeah, I eat this, I do that, without any explanation of what they're doing or why. And they might be themselves working with a professional, like a sports nutritionist, someone who's in the field, but the information that's given out is just like, do this. And a person who's like, I really want to achieve my goal, is just going to follow this advice without really having any background information. And they're going to start cutting out carbs, cutting out sugar, cutting out things here and there, where food now is seen as a thing that I have to do rather than fuel. Because at the end of the day, food is fuel. It fuels your life. It fuels your performance, your energy, your literally every movement. The less food you eat, the less energy you have. And that's regardless if you go to the gym or not. So people start viewing food as it's something that I need to eat, I need to cut out, it's like something that we're scared of now. It's not seen as fuel anymore. And where social media comes in is, and I've seen it, honestly, I'm gonna be very honest. It's my Instagram feed at one point was seeing those videos of like fitness influencers going like, cut out carbs, no sugar, zero sugar, carbs are bad, oats are bad. And then you have this video of someone going like, eggs are so bad. And then the other video is like, eggs is the best thing on earth.
Whites only, yolks only, everything.
Literally everyone is saying their own thing, and you're like in the middle and you're like, okay, what am I following? Which information is the correct information? And this is what I'm seeing in like at work, like in the clinic, where the kids or the adolescents come in and they're like, but I saw this post that said only eat this type of food, and they're following it because they go on this person's page. He or she look amazing, like
they have 1 million followers, so they must know what they're talking about.
Exactly. So when this person says eggs are bad, I immediately cut out eggs. Or if this person says eat, I don't know, 2 spoons of rice, I'm doing this without having any background of why, for how long, is it for my body? Because at the end of the day, I cannot tell you what to eat. You cannot tell me what to eat, because each body has its own needs. Each body is different. I can function, for example, on this amount of calories, and to you it's like, oh my God, I can't, I need more or I need less. Each person is different.
And each person also, like some people can eat, they feel good when they eat like bigger meals versus they need to eat to graze almost throughout the day. So everyone is different, their needs are different, but then also, like you said, the body is a smart machine. So it also can change over time, and that's why it's so essential for people to have that consultation with a trained professional to make sure that whatever movement is happening, whether it's interpreted as progress or not, is in line with optimizing their health. And the problem, as you're saying, is people are getting a lot of their information online. I mean, I recognize that we're putting this information online too, right? But, you know, some information is accurate,
it's harmful,
and it's reliable, and some can be really harmful, and sometimes people don't recognize the difference between the two.
I'm sure you've seen those videos of, as we said, the very famous fitness influencers and their videos of what I eat in a day.
Yes.
And they're putting it all out there. They might be putting it for a reason of, I just want to share what I'm eating, which is totally fine. Again, you do you. I always say this, you do you, but it's the audience who's receiving this information and trying to follow exactly what this person is eating without knowing, as we say, what phase this person is in. Is this what this influencer, let's say, or sports person is eating because they're in a certain phase? Is it how they eat every day? How does this serve them? How active are they? What are they doing?
Is it what they're eating also?
Yeah.
Is it even true?
As we know, on social media, you're always putting your perfect image out there. Whether you're taking pictures or videos, it's always the perfect angle, the perfect whatever it is. And that's what we see as the audience. That's what we see. We don't see behind the scenes. We don't see the rules, maybe the anxiety, all of this that goes literally behind the scenes of what we're seeing. And what's interesting is, even me at one point, I used to think that only pictures can be edited. Like I would see a picture of someone and be like, oh my God, they look so amazing. And then be like, but maybe it's edited. But then I would go look, for example, at the video and be like, no, but look at the video. It looks as good. So it's not edited. Till actually I learned that even in videos, you can edit, for example, the lighting to show that you have more muscles or highlight this part of yourself to make it look like you want it, like you want people to see you or perceive you. I had no idea. To be honest, I thought that it's just pictures. And that's what a lot of people don't know as well. They see that video of this person training and they're like, oh my God, when she's walking, for example, look at her ab, look at her muscle here, look at this, look at that. While in reality, that person, I'm not saying she doesn't have them or he, but it's not as out there or as highlighted.
It's not as accurate as we think that it is. And I think you're bringing up a really important point, which is we're savvy enough now to know that things can be manipulated, but we don't recognize the depths to which they can be manipulated. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but there is an influencer named Danae Mercer, and she has a page on Instagram. She used to work for various magazines. I don't remember which ones off the top of my head, but her page right now is designed to show people how angles and lighting and everything can make the biggest difference. And her overarching message is, you are so much more than all of these things, while acknowledging that obviously there's a lot of pressure, especially on women, but also on men.
Of course.
So there is a lot of stuff that's out there, and it's a very natural thing for all of us to compare ourselves to what we see online. And if we think about like the social psychology literature, when it comes to these social comparisons, what do people do? If you feel good about yourself, you're going to have kind of more balanced comparisons.
Yes.
So you're going to look at someone that might be, you know, more in line with what you're hoping to achieve health-wise, someone who's similar to you, people that are maybe not as advanced as you are. But if you feel bad about yourself, who are you comparing yourself to? Your perfect person. And that perfect person probably doesn't even look like that.
Look like this, exactly.
It's just, and they might have even, on top of all the things that you just said, like if I want to show that I have really defined biceps, I'll go and do a bunch of bicep exercises first to get kind of things moving.
You get a pump, basically. It's what a pump. Yeah, exactly.
And
you do this
and
thing,
then go, and then you edit, and then you make up, and then you do this, and then, you know, kids, teens, and adults are looking at that and being like, wow, if only I just adhere to their very rigid way of living, I'm going to be like that.
Yeah, that's
and
how I'm
then
going to
it doesn't work. And then you feel terrible. And then probably what you do is you start finding more people that are like that, and then doing the same thing. And then you get also in this loop and the stuckness of, I'm a failure. Yeah. They're better than I am.
And your body and your self-image, your identity starts getting defined by this. Because as we said, I ate good, I'm good. I ate bad, which is I had one slice of pizza, I'm a failure, I'm bad. Or I've been training for 1 month and she's been training for 1 month, but look at how we look different. Because people don't take into account genetics, lifestyle,
Age.
hormones, age. Especially with women, there's a lot of hormone things going on inside that we're not aware of. And it's interesting because some people can literally follow things by the book or by their book, let's say, and not get to what they want to get and then go do some test. And there's a lot of hormone, whether it's estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, whatever it is happening inside, imbalances where they're not able to do this, or where the body, as I mentioned, is stuck in starvation mode. Without starvation mode does not mean that I'm starving. So some people are like, I eat, I'm not starving when I say this word. I'm like, it does not mean that you're starving. You're eating. I know you eat. But starvation mode is where, as I said, your body got used to this amount of calories, and now anything extra is just being held on to, where it's like, okay, now I need to push more and more and more. And how do I break out of this? It's like, I'm doing all of this and getting nothing. How can you tell me if I'm eating, let's say 1,000 and I'm gaining fat, how do you expect me to go to 1,500? What's going to happen? Am I going to blow up? What am I going to look like? And it's like, but that's the thing. It's so hard for a person going through this to get out of it.
It is.
So I just want basically whoever is listening to realize that, yes, there is a very thin line between healthy eating, between obsession. So basically how I like to think of it basically is healthy eating is like a compass. It's there to guide you, but it's open to, change. But disordered eating, unhealthy eating, let's say, is like you're trapped in a cage, and sometimes it might feel clean or safe from the outside, like I'm inside, I'm safe. But at the end of the day, you're in a cage. You're not able to roam around, you're not free, you're not flexible, you're living in your own cage.
In isolation.
100% in isolation, where you might look clean from the outside, nice, I don't know, muscular, lean, healthy, whatever image you wanna or look you wanna have, but from the inside, you might have anxiety, you might have depression, you're isolated, all your thoughts literally are on, what am I going to eat? When am I going to eat it? How am I going to eat it? Will I achieve this? What will I do? And people don't realize the extent of how much it literally takes over your life.
Yeah. How can I get out of doing this? Oh my goodness, I have to go to this meeting and there's going to be food and people are going to be asking me, and okay, I'm going to eat something because I don't want to look like the weirdo that doesn't eat things. But then I ate a French fry. So now I have to go home and do 45 minutes on the treadmill. And then the 45 minutes doesn't change. And then I did the in-body analysis and my percentage of body fat is higher than it was yesterday. And we're saying this sort of tongue in cheek, but the reality is that some people do end up there, and it starts often innocuously, but it can go there. And Valen, one thing quickly, it's a little bit of a pivot, but a lot of times historically, when we talk about body image issues and disordered eating, people will close their eyes and picture someone and they will think of a female. Right? Because there's a lot of pressure and all of this.
To look a certain way.
Look a certain way and all of this sort of stuff. But what have you noticed in terms of males? Because now we're seeing that there is an increase in prevalence of eating disorders. And I believe, I'm no expert on this, but I believe particularly with binge eating disorder. But when it comes to this line between healthy eating and training, what are you noticing or hearing about when it comes to men?
So basically, I'm going to talk from personal and professional experience. So I'm going to be honest. I train a lot. I love it, but I do it for enjoyment. I love it. To me, it's a stress relief. And I tell all my clients, please train, because you will see the benefits, not just physical. It's not just about the look. It's the internal, the endorphins, the dopamine, the stress relief. All of this is where you feel amazing. And I love it. And honestly, before I even come here, I was at the gym because I was a bit nervous. So I'm like, release that and come. And I love it.
And it worked.
Of course, it works. To me, it's one of my ways of, let's say, therapy and releasing it. So I love it. And I encourage everyone to do it. But we need to be aware where, again, there's a thin line. With males, and what I'm seeing with my gym, is men are at a point where they're always in competition with each other, unfortunately, where it's like, who's bigger, who's more muscular, who's stronger, who's more committed, who's more disciplined, who's more dedicated. And these are the words that are literally thrown around all the time. Like I can be walking by and hear one guy point like tell his friend, oh, look at this guy, I'm sure he's so disciplined. He eats all of this, he does all of that, like look at this. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure he is. He looks great. Good for him. But I always wonder, maybe because of my profession, I'm like, okay, but what's going on behind this? Is this person happy? Is this person comfortable? Is he confident? And sometimes you might feel like they're not. They look that way, but they still feel like they need more. And this is where this term has been introduced, where it's called Bigorexia, where it's kind of, they say the reverse of anorexia, because it's like, I need to be bigger, I need to be leaner. And it's that where I want to achieve the bigger look, not the smaller or the skinnier look. It's no, I want to be as big or as muscular as possible while looking as lean as possible. So I want basically every single muscle I have in my body to be out there. And some of them do have this look, but to them, they don't. This is where body dysmorphia comes in, because bigorexia at the end of the day is a form of body dysmorphia, where obviously eating or disordered eating comes in as well, because most of the time disordered eating or eating disorders go hand in hand or are comorbid with body dysmorphia, and they kind of feed each other, let's say. So men are going through this so much and we don't realize it. We see the men pushing and doing, and we're like, yes, you're so strong, good for you, go. But it's like, again, what's behind this? They're also isolating, they're also having anxiety, they're also having depression, they're also going through all of this where they cannot enjoy their life, where their world, literally their whole world is dictated by what can I do so I can be bigger. And then this is where, for example, we start taking steroids or substances, because I need, whatever I'm doing is not enough, so now I need that external help, because whatever I'm doing, again,
usually not under the guidance of anyone.
Of course, it's like, I just saw this post online that says, okay, take whatever substance for this long, and I'm doing it. But what about the health? What about the consequences mentally, physically, biologically, psychologically, socially, all of this, where we don't take into consideration. We're just basically narrow focus on, that's the look that I want, and I don't care about anything else. I'll just deal with it when it comes. But when it comes, sometimes it's too late, and I'm just so down, like deep in a hole, that I'm just digging deeper, and it's like, how do I get out of it? I'm kind of stuck. So yes, males go through this so much, and it's often, again, masked with, he's a guy, good for him, he looks good. But when a female comes in and she's like, oh, I'm counting calories, I'm doing this, it's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, yeah, because at the end of the day, women, as you said, like, women images changed over time. Like before, it was like, be as skinny as possible, as slim as possible. Now it's like, no, maybe a bit curvy, a bit muscular. But it's just that woman image is always changing, while the men image, let's say, is always be muscular. If you think of like a guy who goes to the gym, it's muscular. But if you think of a female who goes to the gym, you're either going to think of someone who's really skinny or someone who's curvy with a bit of muscle. It depends. Like there's varying options. But with men, it's this.
And evolutionarily, it makes a lot of sense. But I guess what I'm hearing from you is that this whole concept of body image issues and some of these problematic or unhealthy behaviors is not limited to women anymore. We're seeing it a lot with men. And then as you were describing it, there's something that came to mind for me. So what you've observed in the gym, and I've also observed in the gym and in my personal and professional life, is the same thing, that people are engaging sometimes in this overtraining and also supplementing in certain ways that are usually not very good for them, I would imagine. But when you overtrain, what is the risk of overtraining? And this is something that actually happened to me once.
Yes.
At the very beginning of COVID, I was doing an exercise routine at home, and just like you, it's such a big stress relief for me. It's something that I do mostly for my mental health, but also obviously it's good for physical health. And I just had to get through like one last set of something. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I had the sharpest feeling in my calf muscle, and I ended up having a tear, and I was out of action for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And, I'm not an athlete. And that was a 6-week period. But I would imagine that people that overtrain kind of regularly are putting themselves at risk for injury. And then when you're at risk for injury and you're not able to train, what is that going to do to your mental health? What is that going to do to your physical health? And what is it going to do to your identity? If being a gym buff is your thing?
Honestly, it's interesting you mentioned this, because at one point I was even overtraining. If I'm being honest, I would go at 5 a.m. I would do like a CrossFit session, and then I would go again at 8 and do a weightlifting session, and then I would go to work. And I was like, yes, like I conquered the day. I'm full of energy, because I love those two things. I do CrossFit, I do weightlifting. So it's like, I need to do it. And at one point it was overtraining. And as you mentioned, the injury, I've had a lot of injuries, unfortunately, till I got to a point where I realized what I'm doing is unhealthy. I thought I was doing the healthy thing by overtraining and doing this, but at the end of the day, as you said, you got injured. I was the one who got injured. And that's the thing with overtraining. It's the body becomes so fatigued where you might just be walking, trip on something, or even like hit your elbow on something, and you have like a big injury, and you're like, where did that come from? You're like, what is that?
I'm doing all this stuff all the time, putting this strain on my body, and then I do this.
Exactly. And this thing injured me. Like, you know, it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
And actually that happened with me not long ago. Literally like a few months ago, I was really training for CrossFit, and then at home I was sitting on the sofa, and I just literally put my hand to get up, and my wrist got really injured, where I had to be in cast for 7 weeks, like a full-on cast for 7 weeks, because of just doing this and standing up. And it was like, what? I've been doing all of this, and this is what got me. And this is where I was like, okay, maybe I am overtraining. And where the risk comes in is, as I said, fatigue, injury, identity comes with like, okay, what am I doing? Who am I? And the thing is, with someone who is on the borderline, or not even like cross that healthy line where it's obsessive, they will find a way to go to the gym despite the injury. So I have a calf muscle, fine, I can walk, I'm going there, I do something else despite me being injured. But we don't realize that this actually prolongs the recovery period. So if it's like 4 weeks, now it's 6, now it's 7, because I'm not resting. And it's like, it starts affecting the eating as well, because I'm not training as much. I'm not being able to put the effort that I usually put. So now I'm going to decrease my eating. I'm cutting out this, and that's not important. I don't need the carbs because I'm not pushing much. But carb is fuel at the end of the day. It's very important. And now there's this trend of cut out carbs and only eat protein. Fine, but it starts getting to a point where we start neglecting how we're feeling. I don't care how I feel. I don't care what I do. I need to train. I need to eat this certain way. And as I said, food becomes transactional. So I cannot eat if I don't train. So even if I'm injured, I'm going to find a way to be in the gym or at home or whatever, but I'm going to train. Whatever it is, I'm doing it. And then the consequences of this is I have malnutrition, I have fatigue. With some women, that overtraining gets into menstrual loss, where they're really low on body fat percentages, where we cannot think straight, where we're so tired, where even our sleep is affected because we can't sleep much, or we're oversleeping, where I cannot function. Basically, literally, I cannot function anymore. And it's like, who am I?
No, exactly. Who am I? And then also, you know, both you and I shared that we use physical exercise as a way for stress relief and as a coping mechanism for various things that happen in our lives as humans. So if that's taken away from you, whether it's a reduction in the intensity, but you're still doing a little bit, or you actually really properly rest your body, sometimes people have forgotten or lost touch with some of the other things that they do. And what I've observed is sometimes people will then try to self-soothe with food, and then they've maybe missed certain food groups or certain types of food, and then maybe they eat more or different things than what they were used to, and then that opens up like a whole other guilt and shame-based cycle. So it can be really problematic. But before we continue, I just want to say I really respect and admire you sharing your different experiences, because I think a lot of times people will think that, you know, as mental health professionals and people with a background in psychology, we have these like perfect lives.
We have everything under control.
Everything under control. We've got the rule book. We know how to do it. We never suffer or struggle with anything. And the reality is, number one, we're human. And number two, that line is very easy to cross.
It's very easy. It's, I think, one of the, in a bad way, easiest lines to cross between healthy eating and an obsessive eating. And as you said, actually, about us being psychologists, it's, someone sees you upset somewhere and they're like,
but why?
Why? I'm like, or you got, let's say, anxious about something. You know, it's like me being anxious about this. And then I get these comments from here and there, but you're a psychologist. Like, why are you anxious? deal with it. Like, you teach people to deal with it. Why aren't you dealing with it? I'm like, of course I deal with it, but this does not mean that I cannot feel upset or cry or angry or whatever it is. Like, that thing goes into many things of your life. Like, even in relationships, when I'm seeing couples and they assume that, for example, I would have a perfect relationship or you would have a perfect relationship, that just because it's our thing. And I'm like, no, we're the same as you. We're the same. You have problems. I have problems. We have problems as a couple with our kids, with our lives. It's normal.
Exactly. We're human. We're not robots.
Exactly. Because that's what I always use the sentence. I'm like, I'm the same as you. Like, don't think I'm better or more aware or just because, no.
And even awareness, like, let's say because of what you do, and this is an interest area of yours, maybe you are more aware of these things than the average person. But awareness doesn't always translate into action.
Of course.
Sometimes it just stays as awareness.
Of course. And the thing is, you know, I had to get that. I had to learn that awareness because I did fall into that cycle when I first started of overtraining, undereating, starvation mode as well. And I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. I need to learn. And this is where I started learning, like, for myself, for even my clients. I had to learn the science, the nutrition, the research, what goes on with all of this, with the calorie counting, with why is it good, not good, what's the benefit of this, of that, so I can get out of it. And that's the thing where I always try to do with my clients is education. I'm like, if you don't want to listen to me, fine, just please go read the science, read the research. Don't just rely on whatever you're seeing, as we said, on social media, because you're going to see things here and there where
Reliable
this is amazing
sources.
and then the next day it's like bad, and then it's again, and you're like, what am I looking at? Which one do I listen to? So please go listen to listen, podcast, YouTube, whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing.
From reliable and credible sources, and having 100%. A variety of them. And I think also sometimes what happens is we end up in our own echo chambers. So we're looking for information that is aligning with what we want to hear.
Yes.
And there's that confirmation bias. So also exposing yourself to other ideas and perspectives from other reliable and credible sources that have a different vantage point might help you sort of balance it out. So I think, like, a lot of our conversation today has really focused on where is the line. And I think if we kind of summarize what we talked about, one of the primary things that we're looking for is this rigidity, this inflexibility, this idea that, you know, we are not good enough and we're failures if we're not hitting the target. And that target is usually a moving target. Often there is some, like, social isolation. There can be some other disengagement from relationships and domains in your life because you're really emphasizing the gym or the food or a combination of the two. We're seeing it in males as well as females. We're seeing it in children. We're seeing it in teenagers. We're seeing it in adults. We sort of touched on this a little bit, but didn't really talk about it. I know you and I have spoken about it. It impacts on relationships too.
Of course.
But I think what would be really helpful is if we spend a little bit of time talking about what to do. So if someone's hearing this and being like, ooh, maybe I didn't cross the line, but I'm getting close.
I might. Yeah.
I might. Or yeah, I did. Or I know someone that has totally crossed that line. What do we do? How do we kind of come back into the more healthy space?
One thing I want to say, where you said I'm good, I'm bad, it's basically true health, like good health, is not about how clean your plate is, because that's what we think. It's actually about how kind your inner voice is. Because as you said, it's I'm good, I'm bad. And this is what dictates how we go on. I'm bad, I failed, and my day goes on like this. Or I hit my calories, I did my whatever it is I need to do, so now I'm good, my day can go on. And this is where it's like, okay, but where's your kind inner voice? It's your inner voice is now like a judge. Good, bad, guilty, not guilty. And literally it dictates your whole day, your whole mood. It comes into your relationship where I leave the gym like, I only had 30 minutes today, for example. I did not do well. I cannot eat. And then I go home, I'm in a bad mood. I'm not in the mood for the husband or the wife. Don't talk to me, don't do this. I can't focus at work. My whole day can get ruined because of this. And this is where, again, it's one of the signs where things have crossed the line, where all I'm sitting and doing while at work is, okay, what am I eating? If I, for example, put this much chicken, is this much calories, this much protein? Okay, fine, I can put this. No, I can't. No, I have. This is literally how it goes. And the thing is, it's there all the time, and this is where it's unhealthy. And where it can come into the relationship is where one partner might not really be aware of what's happening or the consequences of this, and they're just like, just eat. Like, why don't you want to go out? And then we start arguing of why can't we go out? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? While the person genuinely cannot. I cannot, like, I don't, it's not that I don't want to go out, I just cannot go out.
Yeah. So it definitely crosses into the relationships.
100%.
And so if someone is noticing that this is what's happening, what should they do?
So
kind inner voice definitely is a marker
100%.
of health and something that we want to work on.
So one thing that's very important is, and I tell this to my clients all the time, is keep like a food journal. Why is this important? And I get this question, I'm like, what is writing down what I'm eating going to do? It's basically put down in your journal your food rules. What are the food rules? Who put the rules? Is it me? That I get it from somewhere? And basically it's writing things down creates awareness. When I see what I'm eating and the foods that or the rules that I have there, it creates an awareness that I might not be aware of. Because when I don't really think about it. It's just like, I need to eat this, I need to eat that. But when I think of why, what's behind this, what drove this, what led to this, and I put it all down and I can clearly see, sometimes that seeing or reading it can be like, oh my God, like, that does not make sense. Or why am I following this? And then when I also see what I'm eating, so like, let's say I do have this disordered eating, and let me write down what I see. Maybe I will realize that I'm not eating enough. Like, actually, this is not good. Why am I going 5-6 hours without anything? While when I'm going about my day, I don't realize. But when I have it there, it's like, like there's a gap. I'm not eating. I'm not doing this. So a food journal is very important. Another tip is challenge that inner voice, the bad inner voice where it's telling you food is good or bad. Because no one's defining food as good or bad or clean or not. You are the one doing that. You are telling yourself this is good, this is bad. So again, where is this coming from? Why is it good? Why is it not? What makes it clean? Who told me this? We always need to have basically these questions. I always need to question myself. Where am I getting this from? Maybe I can be like, I heard it somewhere on Instagram. And then realize, but example, Instagram is not reliable. Like, what made me listen to this? That's something. Work with a professional, whether it's seeking therapy, of course, is very important. It's very important, where we can focus on mindfulness, on CBT helps a lot with this, on working around seeing, is it an eating disorder? Is it disordered eating? Is it body dysmorphia? What's behind it? How can I work with it? Because with those comes as well sometimes OCD, anxiety, there's always comorbidity with something else happening. So we discover what this is. We work on all aspects, whether it's anxiety, OCD, perfectionism, eating disorder, body dysmorphia, self-esteem, they all come in together sometimes, like a bowl of just things there that we're not aware of. We're like, it's just normal, but there's so many layers in that bowl that we kind of need to go through. So work with someone who's a professional in the field, work with a sports nutritionist or a personal trainer who has awareness of this, who can guide you, who can help you. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a goal. Just go about it the right way with the right people on your side, because you will achieve your goal much simpler and much easier than just doing it on your own and getting, few information from here and there and just trying to stick pieces of the puzzle together that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So have a good team by your side. Another important tip, which is a bit hard to be honest, is introducing easy and fun movement. Because again, to us, movement is lift, run, jog, sprint, whatever it is. But what about, for example, dancing, walking, stretching, yoga, for the sake of enjoyment, not for the sake of I need to burn. Because sometimes, let's say I am dancing, but just because I want to put on my watch that I'm dancing and I'm burning, I'm just doing whatever just to burn. But where's the enjoyment? No, it doesn't exist anymore. So we need to put focus on, yes, okay, fine, you're training, you're doing this, but try to find one movement that to you is, I want to do this, I enjoy it.
For the sake of it.
For the sake of it, not just because I'm burning or I'm building or I'm moving or I can earn my food now. No. That's aside, but find something that I can genuinely enjoy doing. And that is sometimes challenging. It's like, why would I waste my time on whatever, yoga, for example, or dance for 30 minutes? Well, I can be running for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So that is something. Also practicing self-compassion, which is, again, the kind inner voice, because it does drive us. So that is a thing. And the last thing I want to say is learn how to sit with discomfort. This is very important because we feel uncomfortable. So it's like, okay, go run, go eat this, go, don't do this. This is how we are, because again, it's anxiety. So we need to calm the anxiety as fast as possible. So start walking around the house, burn, get your steps in, just walk around to hit your steps, This is where it's like, okay, learn how to sit with discomfort, because this is anxiety. It's not the truth. It's fear. It's anxiety talking. It's not the reality of the situation. So basically we just say discomfort is temporary. I'm still safe. I'm still here. It's the anxiety. It's not me. It's fine. Give it time. Let it pass. Don't just, go act onto it, because the more we act onto it quickly, the more we kind of reinforce and feed the cycle.
Yeah, and what you're saying is very much in line. We had an episode with Dr. Dana, and she was talking about changing your relationship with difficult emotions and how we want to avoid certain things, but actually what we need to do is we need to sit with them and move through them. Of course. Which is very much in line with what you were sharing. So overall, I know that there's many more things that we didn't have a chance to get into today, but in terms of how we can address any unhealthiness when it comes to our eating and our exercising patterns, there's the psychological and emotional stuff in terms of the self-compassion, the sitting with the difficult emotions, knowing that things are going to pass. There's some behavioral stuff like having a food diary, but not the traditional one that people think of where you're calorie counting.
No, not
more
at all.
About really understanding the rules, because awareness, as we said, doesn't dictate action, but it is the first step to making a change. Yeah. And then one of the things that you said that I really love is this idea of work with people. And it's not just about working with therapists. It's about how we're not alone. We don't have to be alone. There are a lot of qualified and trained people out there that can support you in your journey to being as physically healthy as possible while also maintaining and preserving your psychological health.
This is where it's sustainable, and we have to ask, you have to kind of define health on your own terms, with the sense of what is sustainable for me individually, physically, emotionally, psychologically, socially. What can I live with? Because healthy eating at the end of the day is a lifestyle, as they say. So, but how does that look like where it's sustainable for me? Because again, what's sustainable for me might not be for someone else.
No, exactly.
So redefine it on your own terms, not what we're seeing, not what we're hearing.
Individualize.
This is where true health comes in, where I'm comfortable with everything. I love that I go to the gym, but I can still enjoy these foods. I can still travel. It's fine if I miss the gym today because I have something. I don't need to kind of rearrange my whole day because I need to fit in the gym somewhere. Like, it's fine. I can rest. I know the importance of rest, recovery, which sometimes is hard to do because, again, we think more is better. Where it's like, I need to train as much as possible for as many days as possible, where we don't take the other things into consideration. So basically, I think... let's say the conclusion of all of this, and what I would like the listeners to kind of think of is, where am I on the line? Am I here? Am I on the healthy spectrum where, yes, sometimes, of course, we've all been through, okay, I want to calorie count for a bit. I want to lose a bit of weight. Oh, my stomach looks big. That's fine. We're human. We've all been there. Or I ate a bit more, so tomorrow I'm going to reduce a bit. That's fine. It happens. As long as it happens and passes and it's not a daily thing, and as long as it's not literally affecting my life in all the ways possible. And why it's very important to emphasize all the ways is, again, because people don't realize. They're just like, just eat. Just don't go to the gym. Just do this, like whatever. No, it's a thing. Like, it's severely impairing. It's hard.
No, it definitely is. It is hard, and it's something that has increased and probably will continue to.
Yeah.
But having these kinds of conversations and bringing awareness to the topic for men, for women, for children, for adults, I think is an important first step. Thank you, Valen, so much for your insights.
Thank you for having me. It was actually, I love talking about this subject. I love when someone comes to me in the clinic with this, because like, okay, let's work together. We're a team. What can I do? I've been there. I understand. You understand. Let's work together. Let's do this. Let's get out of this, because you have the intention of being healthy, but let's do it literally in a healthy way, not try to achieve health in an unhealthy way.
Exactly.
Basically.
Bearing in mind the physical and the psychological.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me.